Alright, this short little video is going to be on how to solder and tape wire properly, electrical wire, which is a common thing you have to do constantly on vehicles with all the electronics, plus trailers especially that go into water or in snow. Over time you have to replace connections and resolder. So I have a piece of wire here we're going to solder, and the insulation is covering copper wire. So we have to expose this copper wire so we can solder it. So I have a pair of wire strippers here, and this is the wire cutting function on the top, so I can snip it using the cutter like that. So there's the piece there, but we got to strip the wire. So this is the wire gauge size indicator. So it goes 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22. The larger the number, the actual smaller the diameter of the actual wire. So a small number like 10 is a much bigger diameter wire than a 20 to 22. This is quite small, this wire. This is a 20 to 22. So put in there, we need to have quite a bit sticking up there. Now, how do you do this? Squish. See, I got it sitting in the little slot for the 20 to 22. I squish the wire, then I'm going to turn the wire a little bit, squish it again. Then turn the wire a little bit, squish it again, and once you go all the way around like that, I'm just going to hold the pliers tight and pull the insulation right off, and there's my copper wire. Alright, so do that on the other end too. So I'm going to put that into the slot for the 20 to 22 in this case, because if you have a bigger wire, a bigger diameter wire, you got to use a smaller number. So squish, turn, squish, turn, squish, turn, squish, turn, pull. There we go. Alright, so now I have my copper wire exposed. Now, how do I turn this together so I can solder? Put it in an X and twist one over top of the other, back and forth. So it looks so it's going to be the same diameter as the original wire, just like that. Okay? So that's how we do that. Now, I'm going to put my camera over here. I've already plugged in the soldering iron. Now, when you guys grab a soldering iron out of the bin, when you grab a soldering iron out of the bin, it's probably going to look like this. I want you to go all around this black cord and look for any spot where maybe it got left like this, where it melted through. We have to fix that. I don't want you plugging this in until you've looked at the black cord for any bad spots where the insulation has been melted right through. If there is, please let me fix it. Do not plug it in. Okay? This one's good. I've already checked it out. It's up to temperature. Please do not touch that tip when it's hot. You are going to burn yourself severely. But what you do have to do is you have to take some sandpaper, and we have to do what's called tinning the soldering iron. So first we clean the tip. So go along the tip. Don't do it towards yourself, because all this old solder is going to spray off here. See? Some just sprayed off right there when I did this. So do it away from your body. Get all the old solder off. It's cleaning the tip. Now that I have the tip clean, and remember, do not touch that tip with your fingers. Alright. There, I'll do it down here so you can see. Alright. Then we take the solder. This is the solder in the little container. Don't pull it here like this. Hold the yellow cap like that, and then pull it out so it doesn't all come out. Okay? So you're going to take this and melt some onto the tip of the soldering iron, just like that. There. Now it is what we call tinned. Alright, that's tinning the soldering iron. Now, the easiest way for you guys to do this, I'm going to make you do a circuit, but I'm just going to demonstrate here. I want to leave the wire onto the tip of the soldering iron like that. It's making the wire hot. That's going to draw the melted solder into it. So, you take the tip of your solder and you just sit it on top. Just sit it on top and move it around. See, it's melting right in. Look at that. It's melting right in. I'm not even having to work at it. It's just oozing right in there. Now, don't touch that whatever you do. It's hot. I'm going to turn it over, and I see some spots here that still are bare copper. We don't want that. Okay? So I'm going to sit on there. Now the problem is, my hands were dirty at the time, and this is a good thing to show you guys. My hands weren't that clean, and it's making it really hard to get the solder to adhere to the actual copper. Your hands have to be clean. Otherwise, the dirt and grease on your hands will prevent the solder from adhering to the copper. Alright, I'm going to show you some examples here. This is a really well done one. This one's done really well. It's coating all of the copper. I see no copper exposed, and it's nice and bright and shiny. I know it's not the best for you guys to see, but it's really nice and bright and shiny. That's an indication that was a really well done job. Okay, this one was poorly done because it's only got a lot of the copper is exposed still in spots, so that's not good. All right. So now that you've got your solder on there, all right. Now I'm going to move the camera. We have to tape it up. Alright, so when it comes to taping it up, we don't want it like this. Look at all the tape used up here. A big gob of tape with big open ends for moisture to get in. Horrible. Okay? I can feel big air pockets in there. That's a horribly done job. This one is also not good. Look at, they taped it up, but it's got big open ends and it doesn't even go beyond where the copper is. Like it needed to be extended a little further out. This one they extended out, but way too far. This one's got tape going all the way along here. No, too much. Alright? We want it to look like this. Alright? The copper soldering job is right in here. They extended it out a little bit, the tape on each side. I feel no air pockets in there. And the ends are nice and tight with tape. There's no way moisture is going to get in there. So the best way to do that, I'm going to quickly show you how to do that here. Okay, let me get this camera sitting up right. Let me unplug that so I don't burn myself accidentally. Oh, and always make sure you unplug it when you're done, the soldering iron. Okay, always unplug it. Let it sit there and cool off. Do not put this back in the soldering iron box right now. It's way too hot. It would melt any insulation it touches. Okay, so let it sit there and cool off. So what do we do here? Okay, I got my tape, black electrical tape. Alright, I have my soldering job I did. It's cooled down now. You're going to show this to me, by the way, before you tape it. If you tape it up before showing it to me, I'm going to make you take all the tape back off. So don't do that. I don't want to see gobs of solder hanging. This one's not bad. Alright, and if I feel a sharp spot on it, don't be afraid to take the pliers, squish, 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 so it's nice and flush. So when you put the tape on, it won't cut through the tape. A sharp edge is not good. It would slice right through this. Okay? So, what I'm going to do, I didn't really make this loop big enough to fold the tape through it, so I'm going to take a piece of tape and just cut it off the roll. Alright? This is a little hard to do in front of a camera here. Okay, so there's where the soldering job starts. I'm going to go a little behind that because I want to make sure I have tape on just the insulation part. I put it around there so it's nice and tight. Started nice and tight, squish, squish. Then I flip it over, but I pull. I'm pulling it tight as I flip it over. Okay? I pulled it tight. Same here. Pull it over, but pull it tight as you pull it over. But don't keep going in the same spot over and over and over again. It's just going to build up bigger and bigger. So make sure you're actually moving down, like towards the other end as you do this. And pull tight as you do it. Pull tight as you do it. Around we go, pulling tight. Alright, we're pulling tight. Around we go. You don't want any air pockets in here. And see, nice and tight here, no air pockets. Pull tight and around. And there. Now we're far enough past where the soldering job ends that I can cut off this excess so I don't have all this excess. And you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to pull nice and tight at the end here. So, ta-da! Alright. No air pockets, tight on the ends. Okay, and that's what it should look like. So, that is the basics of soldering. It's all a matter of keeping it's knowing how to strip the wire, how to twist it together properly. Alright, so when you twist it together, I should show this. Don't make this mistake. Like I showed you the proper way, I'm going to show you the improper way now. This is what the mistake some people make. They go like this, and here's what they got. That is not correct. And then what they try to do is they fold it over like this and try to do it. Well, that's just going to make it really weak right here. So that is not the right way to do it. Don't do it like this. Alright? So soldering is important, how to do that without burning yourself. Make sure that this whole idea is if this is the wire, the solder goes on top and oozes into the wire, and the heat is underneath. The soldering iron, this is the cold one, is underneath the wire, okay, on the tip. Make sure you clean the tip and tin it. And of course then, the taping job is super important, that it's nice and tight with no air bubbles, no openings at the ends. And when you're all done, alright, when you're all done, you're going to put a piece of tape on it and write your name on it and hand it in to me. And there you go, that's how you solder wire. Just remember, do not put this away when it's still hot. Alright, let it cool off. And make sure all your equipment gets put away when you're done. And that's it. Okay.